Their view of the electron, they saw it as a particle, as an individual thing, when it's an entire cloud. It's an energy, it's a wave of energy. It's a pressure condition. It's a resonant thing that can be manipulated by other frequencies.
Terrence Howard proved that the universe is frequency, meaning all things are in constant vibration, either harmonizing or discording with the underlying energy force of nature. He was on the Joe Rogan show twice, explaining his discoveries in physics and inventions. Based on these discoveries, which have completely changed the fundamental understanding of how the universe works, he was ridiculed by Eric Weinstein and the mainstream academia for his theories. He was primarily ridiculed for his concept on 1 times 1 equaling 2.
Because if you were looking at a grid of 1 times 1 equaling 1, it would be a straight grid going out with just boxes on a flat plane forever. Our universe doesn't behave that way. Our universe behaves by everything wrapping itself around, multiplies volumetrically. So what I've been talking about for the longest time is allowing our math to match what the physics work. What does the physical world look like? How does it behave? We can't throw imaginary structures out there.
What he meant by this is that our current standard model of physics has math that is imaginary with no real application in the physical universe. Its only application is for a two-dimensional model that benefits binary computations and fiat systems of economics. In essence, it traps the living multi-dimensional universe into a simulated and programmable system. Interestingly, Freemasonry, a secret society frequently integrated within mainstream institutions and entertainment, propagandizes a two-dimensional space with its imagery of the checkerboard and straight-line Platonic formulas that entrap matter from spiraling infinitely outward as it does naturally, to being confined and constrained into a cell. This NASA scientist, who has worked with NASA for 17 years, was invited to analyze and critique Howard's claims, and to most people's surprise, he agreed with everything Howard had to say to a varying degree. They both explained that the most fundamental aspect of the current standard model is wrong. And if that is so, then the rest of the model is also wrong.
This is a secret to current physical community. Electron is elementary particles. We get this wrong. If we get the electron wrong, if we get the electron wrong, we get the atomic model. The planetary with the orbiting free electrons, we get this model wrong. What happens if this atomic model have no orbiting electrons? Entire quantum mechanics built on this model. Entire modern technology is built on electrons, right? So it cannot exist in this universe, or if there's other universe.
It cannot.
Ever.
Terrence explains that because everything is frequency, then this means we can manipulate matter and etherical space and time. For example, ice becomes water, not by melting, as it may seem to the eye, but by its fundamental structure being changed at a specific frequency, which changes its form. If we are frequency and our consciousness is frequency, then this means in order for us to upgrade or reach a higher understanding or a higher state of health and strength, we need to attune ourselves to the frequency in which that state of being resides.
Their view of the electron, they saw it as a particle, as an individual thing, when it's an entire cloud. It's an energy, it's a wave of energy. It's a pressure condition. It's a resonant thing that can be manipulated by other frequencies. That you don't need actual force, but you can create the conditions to change and affect a waveform. There is no solid matter. It's not a force-based universe. It's a harmony-based universe. Everything has the prime resonant frequency by which it bonds or breaks bonds. You can manipulate anything into anything else by creating the right harmonic or resonant conditions. It has to vaporize and become a different pressure condition so that it can now fit into the next pressure condition. It's called condensation. Everything happens in the condensation of one pressure condition compared to the next pressure condition. That's the crystallization.
This science that Howard is presenting could completely change our world, creating free energy and the bringing of Aquarian golden age.
Now that's the end of oil. That's the end of big tech because they have to change everything out. But that's going to happen anyway because we're behind the gun.
Dr. Yu, the NASA scientist, further explains that the current model does not make sense in the physical universe. He explains how the true force that governs the physical universe is magnetism. Magnetism is the force that creates the spiraling and resonating aspect of our universe. He believes, as Howard does, the gravity does not exist, but is an effect of the electromagnetic process.
What kind of particle in this world? I know everybody since 3 years old. You know this term. What carry both of charge? Magnets.
Yes.
Remember one thing, gravity force is different than all other three fundamental forces based on the quantum theory, right? Standard model of physics. Say, gravity is a unilateral attraction only force. Does not have a repulsion, right? So we said, oh, anti-gravity is not possible. That's all wrong, okay? So what is gravity? Based on the current definition, gravity is a unilateral attraction force. You know one thing. It's an emerging property of a mass system. So emerging from what? We are talking about force. You have to emerge from a force. Let's reframe this called gravity is not a fundamental force. That's number one. Gravity is an emergent property of a particle system of magnetic force. Gravity never occurred in quantum mechanics. It cannot occur in quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics dealing with electromagnetic interaction.
Like I said, if you take a balloon and you rub it on your leg and you put it on the ground, now here the Earth is attracting through gravity, so-called, all of the attracting everything to it. But you put that balloon with the static electricity over the ground, and the same dust particles that the Earth is pulling to it, now this balloon, being so much smaller, is able to pull those particles up to it. Why? Because electricity is greater than gravity, almost 137 times stronger than the gravitational pull is the electrical pull. And that's why I say gravity is an effect of electricity, not the attractive thing.
Terrence Howard waged war against Eric Weinstein in the mainstream academia, stating he is ready to take his science mainstream to help the world.
We are not peers. I don't have the degrees he has, and guess what he doesn't have? He doesn't have an understanding of how the universe works.
You don't think Eric Weinstein
he has no understanding of how the universe works because he has rejected the geometry that supports how the universe behaves. He didn't even evaluate the geometry. He hasn't invented a new form of flight. He hasn't discovered unlimited midair bonding. He hasn't done any of the things that I've done. He doesn't have any of the patents that I have. If I have to go to China, I bet you they won't hesitate a moment to use linchpin. If I give my energy system to another country, the same energy system that they're trying to squash here, what happens to this place? Which they're forcing me to do. Do you know that they took away my passport? So after I'm done here today, when I get home, I'm going to put online the equations necessary to have a thing called unlimited energy, to be able to pull energy directly from the flux, just to say fuck you to the world.